How do I begin when it comes to talking about my dog Turbo? I could say so many things about him. I could rave. I could tell you that this dog was a special soul indeed. He came to me to teach me so many lessons about true friendship, true companionship, what I actually desire in a soulmate, a purpose mate, right? But my journey with my dog, for anybody that truly knows me intimately, and even if you don't, even if you just have observed me from the outside, have observed my career since I started, in radio in 2000, even though you don't know me personally, you've seen my friendship without my dog, my companionship, my bond that I've had with him. He was a beast. He was a beast. I truly believe that as pet owners, you really kind of attract a little bit of what you are. You get a pet because you're attracted to them and because you're like, oh my God, he's so cute, oh my God. But there's definitely characteristics in an animal that you are kind of like, oh my gosh, like no wonder that's my fur baby, because I'm kind of like that too. He had this big presence, but at the same time, he had this gentleness about him. He was like a big, gentle giant. And I think a big part of that was, first of all, because he was loved. He really was loved, like quality love, by me. Growing up, when he was a baby, I used to do nights on the radio. And so I used to live in Long Beach. I would take him with me to the riverbed and I would run with him. And there was so many transients and homeless people in the riverbed that I would let him off the leash. And I was like, look, little did I know that not only was I letting him off the leash to protect me, but I was also training him to be free and to run wild and to not necessarily attack just because you're off of a leash. And so I used to always get those questions about Turbo, like, how did you train such an amazing, major looking, massive pit bull to be so gentle and sweet and kind and to sniff instead of biting? And I'm like, I disciplined him, right? Like, I guess you could kind of say like I domesticated him. Like a lot of us human beings are domesticated, except we talk. He was my motivation behind getting a house. He was my motivation in getting a backyard. He was my motivation in moving to like a different city. He was my motivation to go hard. And I know that a lot of times, if you're watching this, you're probably like, well, how could a dog motivate you that much? Like, I've heard this many times, like, why, how could a dog motivate you? Like, I mean, you might as well just have a baby. Like, I'm gonna have a baby one day, but he was my baby. Even though a dog can't talk back, they do communicate to you by just being there. And I remember, when Turbo was young growing up, he would jump on my bed and he would be like super jugueton. And I would be like, get off my bed, and push him away. And like we do a lot of times to our dogs, right? And dogs are still there for you unconditionally. I would lose a boyfriend, but I wouldn't lose Turbo. My heart would be broken, but I wouldn't lose Turbo. And so to me, that was just like super important, where it was just like, I could have lost my house, I could have lost an opportunity, I could have lost a job, but I had Turbo there. And so when somebody or something or an animal or a friendship or a companion becomes that unconditional with you, where it's like, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, you honor that. In life, you're gonna meet people and you're gonna find and come across relationships that are worth fighting for. And then you're gonna find other relationships that just aren't, And so for me, Turbo was that relationship that was worth fighting for. If you've never owned a pet, you won't understand the void, because that's really what has happened. Is after I lost my dog, a lot of people have asked me the question, how did Turbo die? He was 14 years old in 8 months. This dude lived a long life. And when Turbo passed away, he passed away in his sleep. I was next to him like a true companion, right by his side. And he passed away in his sleep. And I heard him breathing. He was like, and I thought he was being dramatic because, he's my dog. So sometimes your dogs start kind of mimicking your behavior sometimes, And I was like, that breathing doesn't sound normal. It no, something doesn't sound right, But I think knowing and understanding that a dog is getting old, and then it's like you're able to fathom that idea in your mind, but once you're actually seeing your dog pass in front of you, you're just like, what the heck is going on? And that's, I was actually describing this story to somebody the other day where I literally was able to see my dog transition from Turbo the Beast, right? Turbo the champ. Like, he was a champ to the end. When I lost him, it was a shock. It was literally a moment of, like, as I would describe it, I feel like, the movie Ghost, where you feel death is taking where you see death taking that person's body. I felt it right in front of me. Like, what the is going on? Like, my dog's passing away in front of me. That's what's happening. And it was so crazy to see it. And it was so awesome, though, to be able to be there for him, to be able to hold space for him, to be like, Turbo, like, I'm not even going to stop this from happening because I know you've been here for so long with me. And it would be so selfish of me to try to stop him from crossing over to the Rainbow Bridge or whatever they call it. The companionship story is that beautiful that I was able to live his last moments with him to the end. Like a true ride or die relationship. The two main lessons that I learned in losing my dog Turbo is always follow your gut. That day I had a gut feeling that I don't know what, I had a gut feeling about something. I couldn't really pinpoint it, but the only thing I could think of was go home. Go home, work from home, do everything you have to do from home, call people, send emails, whatever, but just be home. I went home, I was home by like 1:30, and I cooked myself something to eat, something healthy, and I was craving broccoli. I remember everything I was eating that day in detail. And I was sitting on my counter, and I was eating alone, and I just remember hearing my dog like, and I was like, okay, that doesn't sound normal. That doesn't sound good. Then it continued, and I was like, hey, Turbo. Started snapping at him, and I just felt like he was evil, like he was kind of gone. He was cloudy, like it was just, it didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right, and I was so right about that something not feeling right. So number one lesson is always follow your gut. Your gut is truly your internal compass. And second lesson I gotta say that I learned is not everybody is worth fighting for. But there are gonna be people that you come across your life that are gonna be worth fighting for. To all my dog lovers out there, I know you feel me. To all my people that are watching this, dogs do become an extended version of your family. They really do. And that's why it truly hurts when they're gone. But I will tell you this, I have Turbo with me forever. I got his paw print tatted on my rib, which I am so proud of. It looks so sexy. So thank you, Turbo, for adding to the sexiness on my body. I have his ashes at home. It was the craziest thing, you guys, to bring home his ashes. Like, literally, I went to the pet paw cremation place, and I was like, hi, I'm here to pick up Turbo. What? It was so surreal to me. I'm here to pick up Turbo, and they bring him out in a bag. They're like, here you go. And I'm like, what? It was so sad. We're all gonna become ashes. And that's where your story ends. So it's like, what are you gonna do from now to whenever that time comes that's gonna leave people impacted, fulfilled, inspired, And so this is why my dog has been another amazing energy put into my life to teach me how to live every single day, intentionally, excited, crazy, wild, free, whatever, without caring what anybody has to say about my life. I feel like Turbo really, in many ways, was my soulmate. He was a soul that I connected with. And I hope that I find that in many relationships that I cultivate in the future. I'll leave you with this. In reality, time is an illusion. It doesn't exist, but it runs our life. Isn't that ironic, right? And we really don't have time. So start living. Start waking up excited. Live life like in the now, live. It's happening now. It's not happening in a month. It's not happening 2 years ago. It's now. What are you doing now that's really shaking this planet up? That's shaking up. Are you waking up excited or not? Time is leaving, and we don't know when that period in our life is gonna creep up on us. So just live. #living.